Well, hello there, you're watching the press preview. A first look at what is on the front pages. Time then to see what's making the headlines with the Daily Mirror's associate editor, Kevin Maguire, and the Daily Mail's Whitehall editor, Claire Ellicott. Welcome to both of you. So, as ever, let's take a look at the front pages, starting with Claire's paper, The Mail, which says that people close to Rishi Sunak are urging him to go for a general election this summer. Meanwhile, The Times leads with the Labour leader, Keir Starmer, praising Boris Johnson for his work on levelling up, which he says Rishi Sunak has killed. The Metro describes baby Finlay Bowden, who was murdered by his parents, as having been totally failed. The Eye leads with an attack by water campaigners on Labour's feeble plans to tackle Britain's sewage crisis. The Guardian says there's widespread anger at the record sewage discharges reported today. The Express says King Charles will call for more kindness in times of need in his Easter message as he prepares to deliver his first public address since he and the Princess of Wales revealed they are both receiving cancer treatment. That message from the King is also top story in the Daily Telegraph, along with that new picture just released by Buckingham Palace. And The Day I Lost My Paul, Kevin's paper, The Daily Mirror, leads on their exclusive interview with entertainer Paul O'Grady's husband on the anniversary of his death. Well, a reminder, by scanning the QR code you'll see on screen during the programme, you can check out the front pages of tomorrow's newspapers while you watch our guests. So let's head to them. Kevin Maguire and Claire Ellicott, welcome to both of you. Should we kick off with your paper? As we all sit there wondering what can happen to our summer holidays. Anyway, what do they mean by summer when they suggest a general election in the summer?
So what I'm hearing is that the people around Rishi Sunak are saying that the fragile truce, the Tories, among his rest of Tory MPs, is not going to hold until autumn, which is, I'm sure, when he wants to hold the election, because the economy will be better, he may have had a chance to fulfil many of his 5 pledges. But the reality is that things feel febrile. There's so much talk of confidence letters, him facing a vote. Can things really hold together until then? He's lost 2 very loyal ministers just yesterday, and he's, I think, 63 Tory MPs standing down now. There's a feeling of malaise in the party, and the Tories are going to have to make a decision. Do they cut their losses? Do they go now? Is anything going to change? They're actually going down in the polls, even though they've attempted lots of tax cuts. Is there anything really going to change if they leave it to the autumn? So this is the brief that, you know, Rishi Sunak's being urged by his advisors, those around him. They're saying that, you know, you should go now, you should go in the summer.
What does the summer mean?
So June or July.
June or July.
June or July, yes. So July is the sort of suggestion.
It's got to be before, you know, schools break up and people go on holiday, though, doesn't it, actually? So the timing is quite significant, but it's fascinating. And once you start losing ministers, 2 respected ones, you know, announcing they were standing down, forced a mini reshuffle, didn't it? You can't have too many more of those, can you?
No, your authority's going in. Look, it's Claire, the Mail's illustrated your story with 2 voters there, you know, getting ready to vote. I hope remember they take their ID, their approved ID, but there's quite a significant number of Tory MPs think Sunak's made a mistake not going in May. And that it won't. It is. So many of them are resigned to lose, and they think it's damage limitation, and it may not get better. Danny Finkelstein, a Tory peer, and The Times today said exactly that. It may not get better. It does. It looks like it's getting worse each time. And you know, the Mail has John Curtis, who's probably the premier pollster. Sorry to Rawlings and Thrasher, saying it's 99% certain now Labour will win. And Starmer will be in number 10. And you can get a few people on a plane to Rwanda, but I don't think I'll get you anywhere in the polls now, because the election, the 2 big issues are going to be the economy and the state of public services, particularly the NHS, where we saw the satisfaction ratings down from 70% in 2010 to 24% now, waiting lists at a record level. 0 poll bounce from 2 national insurance.
Well, they've actually went down.
Absolutely, yeah, nothing for it. You get to May, even if the Tories manage to hang on to the West Midlands and Tees Valley, they're two big mayoral seats, as it were, they're going to lose the Blackpool South by-election. So, you know, they might say, oh, we've done all right in the West Midlands and the Tees Valley, they're going to be a wipeout, but losing Blackpool South up in the, you know, what they call the Red Wall, going to show, well, Sunak's on his way out at number 10. I can see the reasons for holding it in June and July. I can see why some Tory MPs think that. Get it over and done with, and we're going to lose, let's start again.
And things are getting worse. We've seen some polling showing that Reform have now overtaken men as overtaken the Tories with men. So men are more likely to vote. I know most of it more likely to vote Labour, and the Tories are less popular than Reform among men. I mean, that's deeply worrying. And as we've said, they've got to the lowest poll level that Liz Truss had when everything was going really badly wrong. And if you're looking at those polls and you've got Reform on the rise, what do you do? Do you go now? There's so much talk of the election potentially being an extinction-level event for the Tories, that they could lose so many seats, that the party itself is under threat. If you're Rishi Sunak and you have a real duty towards your party, actually, do you go soon?
I still think he's better to try and hang on and hope something happens.
Okay.
I don't know what.
If he can.
Well, if he can, because after May, there could be another attempt to get shot of him.
Yeah, we'll come on to the King's Easter message in the new photo a bit later on, but let's just stick with politics. The Times, which I know you won't have seen because it's just in, also leading on politics. In a sense, this is praise from Sir Keir Starmer for Boris Johnson, not something possibly you'd expect to have heard. Kevin, why don't you kick off on this
Well, he's trolling Rishi Sunak, isn't he? I mean, he's never had a good word to say for Boris Johnson at all. He used to paint him as a lying tool rag over Partygate and COVID, and constantly attacked him over not building the 40 new hospitals, never going to exist, and levelling up just being a slogan, a gimmick with no intention of delivering. This is quite a change now. The only reason he's saying it because he knows it'll just add to, well, I suspect, unless he's had a bang on the head, or he's having one of his like Thatcher moments when you flirt with one of your opponents. One of their idols. I think it's just he and Angela Rayner who've written for the Labour's deputy leader, who've written a joint piece for the Times. Are basically just picking out a scab, a Tory scab.
If you think about the things that were rolled back from Boris Johnson's policies, net zero timeline being one, for example, HS2 being another, and indeed levelling up as well.
Social care.
The money's still, being committed.
Yeah,
I suppose.
social care. Remember, there's a national insurance increase to pay for social care, and that got cancelled, and now they want to. They've cut national insurance and want to get shot of it.
Yeah. Let's talk sewage, not related at all to what we were just talking about. Let's
Can
get
I just
to the...
say on this one, though, it's quite damning that... it is quite a damning piece because he's blaming Rishi Sunak, who was Chancellor when Boris Johnson came up with all this levelling up agenda that was quite popular in the country. He's blaming Rishi Sunak for killing it at birth and not providing the cash for it, which feeds into this idea that, Labour are trying to pay Rishi Sunak as the Chancellor, who won't cough up money for public services.
He's the accountant, effectively, right?
The accountant who withheld the money that... Boris Johnson had the right medicine, but Rishi Sunak prevents it being administered. It's quite a powerful attack.
Pressure on the government too, and indeed water companies on sewage. I think, people cannot believe this is happening, and that actually the predictions were that it was going to get wetter, and, why there is not sort of storage, disposal, and mechanisms, really, to stop us putting sewage into our waterways.
Yeah, the 14,000 storm overflows in England. The use of them up 54% of 464,056, of 464,056 times. They were supposed to be there for exceptional moments. Yeah. And that's just become regular. Is it 4 million hours worth, or 3.6 million hours worth of sewage going into rivers and seas? The privatised water industry in England has got a lot to answer for and has got away with polluting our waterways. A lot of complaints too about Wales and Scotland. It's got to be conceded where they're publicly owned or community owned, as I like to call it.
I mean, interesting for The Guardian to put sort of Oxbridge on the front cover, but the point is that
most of the people who I'm not sure about the editor this time.
But rowers have been
it's a bastion of Oxbridge, The Guardian.
Rowers have been told to cover up sores because of potential risk of E. coli, and my children both did a triathlon in waterways last year. Both got sick. Gave it to me in the other half. We were all sick, and that was suggested E. coli from heavy rainfall as well. So this is, we're starting to see impacts of it. Right, we can take a break. Sorry, I know you're both about to speak.
She was about to.
I know, apologies. Coming up, we will reflect on the King, the new picture, and the words as well from him as his treatment continues. The King urging kindness in his Easter message. Talk more about that in just a moment. Well, welcome back. You are watching the press preview with me once again, Kevin Maguire and Claire Ellicott. Welcome to you. So a new photo then released of the King ahead of Easter, effectively, a Maunday service message as well. The King is to thank all those who extend the hand of friendship in times of need, in an Easter message following the royal family's double diagnosis with cancer, and clearly a great deal of sympathy across the nation for both the King and for Kate.
Yes, so he speaks of extending the hand of friendships. This was after his diagnosis. I think it was recorded in mid-March. The picture would have been taken in mid-March, and before the Princess of Wales diagnosis. But he obviously knows she's been ill, and he knows that she'll have to speak to the public at some point. And it's quite a poignant message. Urging everyone to show kindness, to come together ahead of Easter. It's a nice picture of him, but he doesn't look well, and there has been such a huge outpouring of sympathy for the whole family and everything they've been through. So it's a very touching message.
If that picture has been released as an official photograph, if it's been released to get him sympathy, it will get him sympathy.
Yeah.
If it's released for reassurance, it won't, because he really does not look well. Now, of course, he's got cancer. He's having treatment. He's not said which cancer and what stage it is, but he does not look well. If you look at the lips, they look incredibly dry. His eyes look very red.
Some of that can just be winter, can't it? People...
Yeah, we are in spring now, but or middle of March would be classed as spring.
It's reassuring that he's going to this walk round, that he's going to attend the service.
On Easter Sunday.
Yes.
In St George's Chapel.
So he and the Queen will be attending that.
He would normally have attended the Maunday service where you hand out Maunday money. It's been always a really big thing for the Queen to do.
I remember a mum doing it often.
Yes,
his mum,
right,
when she was quite old and frail, but she still did it. But of course, he may have to shield to some extent because his immune system might be reduced. So he'll have to take precautions. So even in the walk around, he may just be shuffling a bit with his hand in a pocket.
Yes, and we saw Camilla, didn't we, as well, in a walk around, as you put it today, in Shrewsbury. I think you say Shrewsbury, but and handed a lovely message from members of the public. Send our love to Kate, to which she said that Kate would be thrilled to receive it, obviously. So she's still out meeting members of the public, which is a very brave thing to do when this is happening to your husband and to your family members.
Yeah, I suppose somebody's got to go out. They've got no one left, have they? I mean, that's it. If you think he's ill, Kate's ill, her husband is at her side, Andrew's disgraced, shamed, should be in the Tower of London. Anne can only do
be nice
so
at this
much.
stage, okay.
Well, not about him. The rest of the family you can have some time for, but not for him. Not for. Sorry, actually, you're right. You just want to stop me, don't you?
Yes,
No.
Well, it's good to see the Queen stepping up. She's taking the role for her husband and, giving the public reassurance that the royal family's still there and still doing its duty.
Where's Harry? Oh, sorry, I don't.
I'm going to move on. Both of you, thank you very much indeed. Kevin, Claire, thank you.